wanna shake your booties for black girl nerds.
Thank you, Finn and Amanda, for your time. I love that you guys are together. And this film just moved me so much as a parent and just the subject matter in general. Beginning with you, Amanda, for postpartum is such a different type of sadness that only a part of the population can fully understand and realize. As you were preparing to be Julie, what does that type of sadness look to you, given that you are a parent, you are a woman? So, what did that look like to you and how you wanted to convey it?
Well, I mean, I will say for someone who doesn't suffer from postpartum depression, I know it so well. I know it so well what it feels like to have a child, to not feel like I have that support at the federal level. I mean, it's just, I know how alone it feels, and one of my biggest fears as someone who suffers from OCD was what would happen when I got pregnant, when the hormones would come into play, things that you cannot control, the feeling of the fear of doing something wrong to your baby, the responsibility of that. It's so overwhelming for someone who didn't suffer from postpartum depression. I don't know how I would have been able to overcome that kind of thing. I've seen my friends go through it, and it's just, it feels impossible to imagine. And so that right there makes me feel like we just have to continue the discussion until like real changes are made, like in the system and the infrastructure of our country especially, and how we treat mothers and how we treat them. We have all this support and healthcare for people who are pregnant and delivering, but afterwards you get this massive hospital bill, and you're left like, if you can't afford help, you have your partner maybe, but if your partner has to go to work because they don't get any family leave, it's a disaster. It could be a disaster for a lot of people, and we don't talk about it. It's hard, even if like my mom lives with me. She is our nanny. It was hard then, and you don't know what happens in delivery. It's the most traumatic physical experience you can go through. Yeah. How are we not? Where's the compassion for
the moms?
What the F, right?
I could not agree with you more. I could not agree with you more. As a child, you don't realize, no one tells you all these parts. I mean, mental health, we could talk about that, is a whole nother discussion, and it's never inclusive of women suffering from postpartum depression. It's never included in that conversation. So yeah, I'm so happy this film was made. So hopefully it'll help further that discussion. Likewise for you, Finn, for your character, for Ethan, no one talks about the spouses who are there to support the person who is suffering from this. Especially men, they tell men, just, she'll be fine. Just go ahead, just be there, help with the baby. But it's a whole different level of support other than physical support for the babies. So what did that look like for you? Because there's not a lot of grace shown to the partners who are also there in the trenches with the mother, trying to support a baby and raise a baby in a healthy fashion.
Yeah, I think he is kind of lost at sea. He's trying to find out what's going on with her for most of the film, and trying to kind of get under her surface, and can to some degree, but is kind of like I think many of us are, like, is just sort of doesn't have the capability to really understand what she's going through, even though he's trying. And I think it was a point of Amy's to like not have it be like, oh well, she's got issues because her partner is distant or something, like to make the relationship really strong and good, and still the issues persist, that you can't, there's no easy thing to blame it on, like traumatic. I mean, there is trauma in your childhood in the story, right. But like, it's not like, oh, she's like this because this happened to her, or this person is in her life. Right. It's like, it is a more complicated, sometimes unfathomable thing that like no one's really capable of. And like, you can have all the love in the world and still something like this can
with
happen.
Mental illness, there's just a disconnect between, it's really hard to talk about it with anybody, which is why it's also something that needs to be not destigmatized completely, which is going to take a while. Where'd you go?
Absolutely. I have so many thoughts about this subject. I wish I had more time. Thank you so much, you guys. Beautifully done. Beautiful film. And I appreciate you both talking to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.